So with that, I want to transition to the NBA and to a story that has been brought up before with LeBron James and his standing with the Lakers greats. How should we view LeBron James in the eyes of the Lakers legends? And Richard Jefferson, his former teammate, a proponent of LeBron, a good friend of LeBron James, came out recently and admitted and said LeBron shouldn't be mentioned with those Lakers greats. He hasn't done enough yet in his time as a Laker to be considered an all-time great Laker. And obviously that's going to stoke some flames in either direction. And to Richard Jefferson's credit, despite being an ally of LeBron's, a friend of LeBron's, he's wanting to be more objective. He's wanting to be fair now that he's a more prominent media figure. And that's part of the difficulty of the job, is being candid about former teammates, about individuals maybe that you've played with or against, and having to be critically honest about them. And so when you look at his comments on face value, it certainly makes you think, well, where does LeBron stand right now with the Lakers? And so when I hear point blank that he hasn't done enough, that's probably true. As of this present day moment, sure, LeBron shouldn't be mentioned with the all-time great Lakers. But I think that people are going to misconstrue that as a slight or an insult to LeBron when that's not really the case. It's in fact the contrary. LeBron is an all-time great NBA player. And the Lakers have been blessed. They've been fortunate that he decided all of a sudden, you know what, I want to take my talents to LA. The city is blessed that he decided to pick this organization, pick this franchise, and bring them out of the ashes when they were an incompetent, when they were a bottom feeder franchise for several years, accumulating high draft picks, but not really attaining any success. And he decided to come to that destination. And for that, Laker fans should be grateful. And LeBron James, I've said this before, he's the greatest basketball player and most all-around basketball player that I've ever witnessed in person with my own two eyes. Now, in the eyes of many, he's the second or third greatest player of all time. He's an all-time great. There's no question what he's accomplished over the course of his career that has spanned multiple occasions is second to none. It really is. But when you mention the Lakers and a franchise and the most impactful individuals within those franchises, normally the players that are associated in that manner, that are held in that high esteem and that high regard, have had multiple meaningful moments and have either spent the entirety of their career, the bulk of their career, with that one franchise. And especially the accomplishments that they've accumulated in their time with those franchises. You look at the Lakers and the all-time greats: Kareem, 5 NBA titles; Magic, 5 NBA titles; Kobe, 5 NBA titles; Shaq, even in his limited time with the Lakers, 3 NBA titles; Jerry West, 1 NBA title, but he made 8 trips to the finals. Wilt Chamberlain didn't spend the majority of his career with the Lakers, but he won an NBA championship and reached the NBA Finals 5 consecutive seasons with Jerry West. And winning, I think, the one title with the Lakers certainly left the door slightly ajar for LeBron to enter the conversation. It curried a lot of favor with Los Angeles. He won over a lot more Laker fans than he had before because of his ability to deliver an NBA title. And again, the Lakers fans should keep that in mind. And there's a very strong possibility that by the end of his career, whenever he retires, that the Lakers may ultimately decide to retire his jersey because they do appreciate what superstars mean to their franchises, and especially superstars that deliver on their promise to win an NBA title. And he did that. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. And he's contributed greatly to this franchise. But while I think his age continues to defy science and his ability to continue to perform at such an elite level, to be viewed as a potential MVP, to be playing at an MVP caliber level and to be in the conversation for MVP in the league time and time again, even during his time with the Lakers, if we're being fair in evaluating what he's accomplished since he's arrived, well, he's delivered an NBA title. He's reached the postseason 2 times, and he's missed the postseason twice. Now, in fairness to him, in his first year, the Lakers were were charting a trajectory towards making the postseason, and then he pulled his groin muscle. So I'll give him a pass for the first year. This last year was a bit of a struggle. And again, I don't say that to disparage LeBron or rebuke any of his accomplishments, but to be fair to the Jerry Wests, to the Kareems, the Magics, the Kobes, the span of their time with the Lakers, they've just achieved a lot more. They've achieved a lot more, and they have delivered a lot more to the franchise. And that's just being fair. That's being honest. And I think that for LeBron, he is so unique in that he's played for multiple franchises and he's delivered championships to multiple franchises. I think he's perhaps the only individual that has led 3 different franchises to NBA titles. It's amazing what he's accomplished with the Cavaliers, winning a title with Cleveland, for Cleveland, 2 with the Miami Heat, 4 trips to the NBA Finals, a title with the Lakers in the 4 seasons that he's been here. Those are amazing, amazing accomplishments. But the one downside to mobility is that it prevents you from being tethered and entrenched to one franchise, and you don't resonate quite as much and on the same deep level to the fan bases, to the cities, as other guys that have spent their entire career with that organization. Obviously, he's cemented himself as the greatest Cleveland Cavalier of all time. He is certainly one of the best Miami Heat players of all time. But if you were to ask Miami Heat fans who they have beloved and adored more, they'd probably go with Dwayne Wade. He's beloved and adored more in Miami than LeBron is. And obviously, with the Lakers, the city adores Kobe, Magic, those guys a little bit more because they've spent their whole career with that one franchise. So his career isn't over. LeBron James's slab of stone has not hardened. This isn't etched in stone. We can still deliberate, and we're still going to adjudicate judgment. So there's still time for him to change this narrative and this belief and perception of where he stands among the Laker greats. But if we're saying this present day, no, I agree with Richard Jefferson. He shouldn't be mentioned with those aforementioned icons, with those aforementioned Laker legends. Not yet. But if he delivers another title or leads another Lakers team to the finals, but likely wins a title, well, now we can renegotiate and reopen this conversation. But I agree with Richard Jefferson. At this very moment in time, probably not. Probably not.